Today, the company Tata Sons has become one of the most significant corporations in whole of India. Its outreach has permeated numerous aspects of life, such as the houses people live in, the cars they drive, the clothes they wear, and even the tea they drink. However, the company wasn't always as successful as it is now. In this video, we are going to tell you how Tata Sons' former chairman, Ratan Tata, has managed to transform the company from almost going bankrupt to being one of the greatest in the nation. Childhood and youth. Ratan Tata was born in Mumbai in December of 1937, which was in the time period when the British Crown was still ruling the area. He was actually born to one of the wealthiest families of the time, as he was the great-grandson of Jamsetji Tata, who was the founder of Tata Group. However, even though just by looking at his heritage, it might seem that Ratan was born with a silver spoon, his upbringing wasn't exactly easy. His parents, Naval and Suni Tata, ended up getting a divorce when Ratan was only 10 years old. This caused him to be badly bullied by his classmates. Following his parents' separation, Ratan was adopted by his grandmother, Navajabai, and was then brought up at a place called Tata Palace. In the 1950s, it was widely frowned upon to get a divorce, so poor Ratan was tormented by his peers. The bullying only got worse as time went on, especially when word got out that his mother had remarried. Even though this period was full of hardships for Ratan, his grandmother played a key role in guiding him through it all, and in the process, she helped shape his career for the better. His grandmother instilled into him a set of core values. She taught him the importance of being able to speak his mind in a kind and thoughtful manner, as well as to also retain his dignity while conducting himself. And his grandmother didn't only act as his role model, but she was also the one to encourage him and support his choices further in life. For example, after graduating from high school, Ratan's father wanted him to study engineering in the UK, but instead, Ratan chose to study architecture in the US, and for this, he had his grandmother's full support. Ratan graduated from Cornell University in 1959, and immediately after, he started working at a company in the city of Los Angeles as an architect. He worked there for about 2 years, and as he recalls, he greatly enjoyed the time he spent in the city of dreams. He didn't only appreciate the great weather and the fact that he had a good job and a nice car, but he also fell in love with a woman while living there. Their relationship was going so well that when he had to move back to India due to his grandmother's poor health, he wanted to bring his partner home with him. However, the girl's parents didn't support their daughter moving there due to the country's political instability, so the couple sadly ended up separating after all. Climbing the corporate ladder. After moving back to India in 1961, Ratan began to work at his family's conglomerate called Tata Group. However, even though he was a family member, he wasn't actually given a higher-up position at first. Initially, he got a blue-collar job at Tata Steel Limited. However, he has described the months spent there as a total waste of time. Through 6 months, he kept being transferred back and forth between the different departments, but nobody actually told him what to do, seeing that he was a member of the Tata family. Eventually, he managed to settle down into being an apprentice. And for a while, his tasks included shoveling limestones as well as working with furnaces. After some years of getting experience, Ratan was promoted to a managerial position by the 1970s. He became the Director of National Radio and Electronics, NELCO, right when the company was going downhill. Under his management, the company underwent some changes and started improving. But unfortunately, the company ended up crashing down because of the slow economic state of the country. But despite this initial failure, Ratan didn't become discouraged, and instead, in 1977, he took on the task of trying to bring success to another company. This one was called Express Mills, and once again, he managed to turn the company around. But just like before, this company also went under because of factors outside of his control, such as the firm's low number of investments or the textile workers' strike. Ratan Tata as chairman. In 1991, the then chairman of Tata Sons, Jehangir Ratanji Dadaboy Tata, decided to step down from his position and named Ratan as his successor. This came as a big shock to the entire company's management, as well as to outsiders like the media. Thus, there was quite a bit of resistance against Ratan's leadership throughout the board of directors. This was fortified by the fact that there was a number of already established people within the Tata Group that had been aiming for the position. One of these people, Russi Modi, who was the head of Tata Steel publicly, spoke out against Ratan's leadership. This, of course, made Ratan appear in a bad light amongst the media, and even got him accused of getting his position only through family connections. So as we can see, Ratan's career as chairman started off with harsh circumstances. However, he did not let his opposition get to his head. Instead, he began to make some major changes within the Tata Group. First, he wanted to replace some of the older employees with younger talent to make way for innovation. He achieved this by setting the retirement age of directors to 70 and for senior executives to 65 years. After this revolutionary shift in staffing, Ratan was finally able to assert himself as chairman, and he could now fully concentrate on leading the group. It was also helpful that his predecessor, J.R.D. Tata, stayed close to him and helped guide him through the first steps of his chairmanship. His next major move was ordering the different companies under Tata Sons to report everything directly to the group office and to pay a royalty fee for the use of the brand name Tata. He also believed that the group would be better off shutting down some of the branches, such as the ones in textile business. Instead, other upcoming industries came to the group's focus, like retail, telecommunications, finance, and software. Finally, Ratan decided to re-establish Tata Group's identity. He made sure that all of the companies within the group operated in a cohesive way and that they worked as one unit. Spearheading success. The Tata conglomerate truly began to thrive under Ratan's leadership. One of the group's greatest achievements was the revolutionization of the Indian automobile industry. The most prominent step that launched the group into the sector was in 1998 when they created the country's first truly owned car, Indica. Ratan made sure that this model was going to be a success. He achieved this by combining a number of well-tried features of other cars, such as the cabin size of the Ambassador, the dimensions of the Maruti Zen, and the fuel efficiency of the Maruti 800. Even though the group faced an initial loss of money on this model, it eventually became a bestseller, and by now, the group owns one of the largest car companies in the nation. Another product of Tata Motors that is important to mention is the Nano car. Ratan decided to have Tata Motors make this car in order to help families in India switch from having to use small scooters to being able to use a car comfortably. To make this model accessible to the average Indian nuclear family, the Nano car was designed to be compact, so it could fit in the narrow streets, and Ratan made sure that the car had an affordable price as well. The next goal of Ratan was to expand the Tata Group internationally. In 2000, the conglomerate bought the British company called Tetley Tea. Then in 2004, they acquired the South Korean company Daewoo Motors, as well as they took over the management of the Pierre Hotel in the U.S. One of the group's biggest expansions was when they bought Europe's second largest steelmaker called Chorus Group. This was a huge step for the Tata Group because this purchase meant that they are now the 7th largest steel producers in the whole world. Not long after that, Tata Group got featured in the New York Stock Exchange and they became internationally recognized. In a little over 20 years, Ratan Tata was able to multiply the group's profit over 50 times and its revenue over 40 times. And beyond being a major industrialist, Ratan has also been recognized as one of India's leading philanthropists. He has been awarded with 2 of India's highest civilian awards for financially supporting countless charitable causes regarding rural development, education, and medicine. Revenge on Ford. Even though Ratan Tata has achieved so much and is now an established businessman, things weren't always so easy for him. For example, back when Tata Motors first introduced the Indica car to the public, it didn't receive enough sales for it to be successful. Because of this initial setback, Ratan decided to sell the car division to Ford. But when he traveled to Detroit and met with the chairman of Ford, Bill Ford, Tata got completely humiliated by him. Bill told him that he shouldn't have started the car division as he has no experience in cars. Ford even stated that he was doing Ratan a favor by buying the division. After this fateful meeting, Ratan went home and decided not to sell the division, and instead he put all his focus on it and managed to lead it to success. 9 years later, everything came full circle. By then, Ford was threatened with bankruptcy because of the worldwide financial crisis, and Ratan took his chance for payback. Tata Group bought Ford's Jaguar Land Rover brands for $2.3 billion. Bill Ford then admitted that Ratan was now doing them a favor by buying JLR. And the fact that a few years later, the Tata Group managed to turn the JLR cars into one of the most profitable assets was truly the cherry on top. Ratan Tata went from being a blue-collar worker to being one of the most successful industrialists in the world. Despite everyone being against him, Ratan persevered and achieved everything that he set his mind to. His story of success can really show you that you can achieve your dreams with hard work and determination. We hope that this story gave you some inspiration, and for more stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.